Alrighty, folks, we are going to begin the program portion of our dinner. And much like when I told you to eat your salads, I'm going to tell you now to continue to enjoy your meal. This is the kind of a program that it is. Continue to enjoy your dinner, enjoy your desserts. Special thank you to the folks here from the Charleston, I guess you don't call this the Civic Center anymore, so whatever the name is, the folks that have been serving us and the new kitchen. Absolutely fantastic food. Thank you guys very, very much. It was wonderful. Thank you. We begin our program this evening with a gentleman who is very, very happy as the Mountaineers continue to enjoy success both on the playing fields and in the classroom. Last week we had our WVU annual get-together that we honor our student athletes, and over 300 WVU student athletes achieved a grade point average of over 3.0. That makes an athletic director, yes indeed. That makes an athletic director very, very happy. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome him now. Please welcome WVU Athletic Director Shane Lyons.
Thank you, Tony. And thank you all for being here tonight. Again, it's a great honor to always kick off our spring caravans and coming to Charleston and the scholarship dinner and what it means to our department and what it means to our student athletes. And again, I know Ben and Tony had thanked the sponsors, but thank you all again for what you do for WVU athletics. As Tony just mentioned, the scholarships are something that's very valuable to the athletic department, and our student athletes take them very serious. As Tony just mentioned, the exact number is about roughly 500 student athletes, and our grade point average in the fall was a 3.21 among our 500 student athletes. So it's, as he said, it does make an athletic director happy. You know, I tell our student athletes and our coaches each and every day and every year that, you know, the opportunity to come to West Virginia, compete at the highest level within the Big 12 Conference, compete for Big 12 Conference championships and NCAA championships, you know, is a privilege. And to be able to have that scholarship and have a diploma from West Virginia and what that means in the long run for those student athletes who don't have the opportunity to go on and further their professional careers and to fall back on that diploma is a win. So you all help that each and every day by the scholarships that you help support to WVU athletics, and I thank you for that. Just to talk a little bit about, you know, you heard from President Gee and Ben. I know Terry Howells from the administrative staff is here, along with Mike Montoro. You know, these people are to help me each and every day run this department. But I'm very honored to introduce some of the people that's here tonight and our coaches and our coaching staffs that make this engine run each and every day. You'll have an opportunity to hear from later, but men's basketball staff, Coach Huggins is here, along with Larry Harrison, Ron Everhart, Eric Martin, and Jay Kuntz. So let's give them a round of applause. I know Mike Carey, I think you'll hear from Mike. Mike's down here from women's basketball. I'll just go through the staff. We don't have to clap all for each particular sport. Football, you'll hear from Coach Neil Brown, and new staff member Coleman Barnes is here with them, so I hope you had the opportunity to speak with them during the reception. Women's soccer, the veteran out there, I call her, Nikki Izzo Brown, is with us tonight. In rifle, John Hammond, and again, John's done a great job with our program, being able this year to host the NCAA National Championship in the Coliseum, the first national championship that we're able to host. What a great event that we put on. Unfortunately, we didn't come in first this year, but we'll continue to strive, and John's done a great job with that program. In tennis, Miha Isaac is here, along with Emily Harmon in our women's tennis program. Wrestling, Tim Flynn and Cliff Moore is here. Men's golf, Sean Kovich is here. We have an opportunity being close by, will be the first Big 12 championship that we'll host at down at the Greenbrier and this coming weekend. So if you have a few hours to take off, go down and see some great golf in the Big 12. And this is the first opportunity we've had to host, and I know Coach Kovich and his staff will do a great job. In our gymnastics program, Travis Doak and Kaylin Millick is here, and again, do a great job. Rowing, Jimmy King and Kayla Ticken is here. Volleyball, Reed Sunahara and Aaron Hastings. Reed, you win so far. How much did you have to pay that young lady to scream? Hugs? You need to talk to your buddy back there. Make sure that. Men's soccer, Marlon LeBlanc, Nick Noble's here. And from track and cross country, Sean Clary is here representing our head coach in cross country and track. But I've had the great honor to serve as your athletic director. As Tony said, there's some great things that's happening in Morgantown. It happens because of our student athletes. It happens because of our coaching staff. And I'm blessed to be able to help lead this group each and every day. So thank you for what you do. Thank you, Charleston, for your support. And let's go Mountaineers.
Thank you very much, Shane. So we've established that Reed Sunahara has groupies. That's great. Time to meet our coaches for our panel discussion. Would you please welcome to our tabletop up here, women's soccer coach, Nikki Izzo Brown. Mountaineer rifle coach, John Hammond. Women's basketball coach, Mike Carey. Men's head basketball coach, Robert Huggins. I thought the best bet would be to attack him first before he attacked me. That's all I was doing. I just know how he works. You better throw the first one because he's going to throw the second, third, and the fourth. I have the seat reserved for you here, sir. Table for one. Thank you very much.
Am I the only one without a mic?
No, you're in. No. This is new, man. This is like everything is new. New microphones, new sound system, new building. This is really good.
Same bar?
I
was joking.
No, he really wasn't, but that's it.
How are we, guys?
Good, thanks.
Very good to have you here.
I'm feeling a little insulted, though.
What's the problem?
Shane Lyons called me the old lady on in the athletic department.
No. You misheard him. So
Hey,
he
Nick.
didn't say old.
Hey, just own it. Just own it.
I am.
I think it was Shane. It was more O-L-E rather than O-L-D. Yeah, the old. Yeah, like the old ball coach. The old. Yeah. Anyway, so the purpose of our roundtable, as it is each and every year, is to talk a little bit about obviously where you guys are within your programs and talk about what? Oh, you don't want to talk about that?
Why the hell am I up here?
Buddy, because you got equity in the bank. Don't you worry about a thing. You got 800 plus reasons why you're here. Don't you worry about it. Maybe things didn't go as well as you thought, right?
Did a hell of a job trying to catch up in the other column.
You're fine. It's going to be all right. I mean, I see Emmett out here. He's smiling. They're right back there. I see Jordan here. I see Derek out here. I mean, you got a lot of reasons to be happy.
Tony, I totally agree. It's not them. It's kind of like our broadcast crew. It's you, and then we got a problem.
He'll be all right. Don't worry. We'll get him. All right, Nikki, let's jump in here. Obviously, this group is our biggest group that we go to each and every year during this time of the year, and the dollars that we have raised through the years obviously have been extremely beneficial, both in success, athletically, and as Shane was just mentioning, academically. That's the highest GPA we've ever had. What's the significance to you when it comes to these folks and people across the state of West Virginia? What's the role that these scholarship monies that they help us produce, what do they pay for?
Yeah, I think it's a twofold. People always ask, why is there so much success with the women's soccer team? And I always say it's just such a special place because of the people. And then obviously the support we get for facilities. Recruits want to see facilities and they want to be playing in the best atmosphere possible. And as all of us will tell you in the Big 12, winning isn't easy, and the facilities that we compete against are just incredible. So the support of every West Virginian here is just critically important, but just how special the people are.
John, this year, as Shane alluded to, West Virginia held the national championships in rifle. It was a wild event in the sense that the WVU Coliseum was turned into a rifle range, and all of the focus and rifle turned to Morgantown. Talk a little bit, if you would, about the significance of that, and give us an update as to where this program is right now.
Sure. Yeah, it was an incredible event. Obviously, to host a championship was awesome. I think the biggest thing that stood out for me was the fans and the supporters that came out to watch. Just to give everyone an idea, the record attendance for a rifle championship before was somewhere in the region of between 900 and 1,000 tickets sold. So obviously not a huge blockbuster, but we were able to do over 2,200 tickets. So really kind of doubled the record.
Great.
And I definitely, I remember the second day, obviously we're up there and watching the athletes, but just, a few times I would turn around and just look at the crowd behind, and it was, just really special to see that, and, just nice to know that Mountaineers really showed their support and came out, and as Shane said, we were a few more points would have been nice to get one more step, but it was still a great event, and I think our program's in a great place. I think that will have, done no harm for recruiting. I know we had a few recruits come and watch the championships, and I'm sure, they won't have seen a rifle match like that ever before. Yeah. But yeah, we're in great shape, and, we've got some good young ones and some more coming in, and, looking forward to next year. Yeah,
and obviously Jenny is gone now. Jenny Thrasher, who put West Virginia obviously in a huge spotlight, winning a gold medal in the Olympics. That was a quick 4 years. My goodness, huh?
Yeah, 4 years goes pretty quickly, and she's one that we'll remember for a while, and obviously the fans will remember Jenny and recognize her for a long time. So she was a great athlete to have. Always had questions. Just a very outgoing personality, but. We'll miss having her around. Our team members have said this, not just myself, but the range will definitely be a lot quieter without her next year. So.
Absolutely. Coach Carey. I'm sorry to interrupt. Sorry, Bob, whatever you need.
He asked me a question first.
Mike, you guys went through a season, you've been at this a long time, went through a season that, from an injury perspective, was absolutely devastating. Phyllis, bring us up to date, because I know you've got a lot of talented kids that are coming in. Give us the state of women's basketball, if you would.
Well, I think, I have to say right up front, I was worried I was going to be, not dressed appropriately and all that, and be the worst dress on stage. But then I remember Coach Huggins going to be sitting beside me, so I wasn't worrying about it.
Game day, baby. Game day.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm tired of, this 2 years in a row of injuries and that. It's getting real old. And I know Shane's tired of hearing of it. And, it is what it is. We're trying to bring in some numbers this next year in case we do have injuries and that type of stuff. But you just never know going in. And we ended the season with 8 players, and I don't know of any 8 players I'd rather had on the team than those group of young ladies. They just did a fantastic job going down the stretch. And I was really proud of our team going down the stretch. So we've signed 6. We're probably looking for 1 more. And so I think, on paper we look good, but you never know till they get there. And hopefully we can stay healthy. If we can, we should be in pretty good shape. I will say, probably the best recruiting job I did this year was getting Tyneese Martin to come back. So she's coming back for another year, so we're happy about that.
Hugs, give us a state of the state. Obviously, news today, Sagaba Konate, it was announced, has signed with an agent. Rules have changed. Can you kind of walk us through where that stands and where you guys are right now in recruiting? You made a couple of announcements last week of signees.
I don't know. They have changed so many things. Sags is allowed to enter the draft. He's also allowed to select an agent. And from there, it gets a little cloudy. Allegedly, the agent is not allowed to transport them, feed them, house them, hire a workout guy, and so forth. And who's checking on that? I mean, I'm not sure anybody's checking on that. It's just, and I said this today on a deal I was doing today. Here's what bothers me, Tony. What bothers me is we're worried so much about one person. I don't mean Sags. I mean in general. We're worried about one person. Does anybody care about the other 12? Amen. I mean, so they can stay in the draft longer. They can get more amenities, more things, and now the other 12 guys who are doing the right thing sit there. And now they're saying, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? What do we do if he doesn't come back? Can we fill a scholarship? It puts, I think, a lot of undue pressure and stress on the other 12 guys. And maybe I'm crazy, but I'm just thinking we should look out for the whole rather than one. So, and again, I'm not talking about Sags. I'm just talking about the rules in general. And then we get a whatever it is, a book kind of thing from the NBA, and then we get a email from the NCAA, and now you're looking at this and they're like, is this? Wait a minute, this isn't saying what this is saying. It's honestly, Tony, it's out of control, and we need to kind of rein it back in. And I understand the problem. The problem is they're afraid to get sued, and I understand that. But at the same time, we're all the time talking about the betterment of the student athlete. But what about the other 12 guys? I got 3 or 4 guys out there, that they're sitting there like, and thank God we have Derek Culver, and thank God Oscar signed up with us, and thank God a guy named Logan Rout from Cameron, West Virginia, decided to throw his hat in the ring and come with us and believe in us 4 years ago. This will be his 5th year. And thank God we have those guys. Think if we didn't have 1 or 2 of those guys. And now, and again, this isn't about Sags, this is about the rule. So now we have to wait until the end of June. And do you use his scholarship? What if he wants to come back? He doesn't have a scholarship. You don't use his scholarship, all of a sudden, now you're without a backup center. It's just, and I'm venting, but it's pretty interesting vent, though, I'm thinking.
And you didn't think you had anything to say. See that?
Hey, Marlon, where are you going? Where are you going? Our soccer coach just quit, Shane.
Get that on Twitter. Get that on Twitter. Nikki.
Oh, that's bad.
This has been, I think sometimes we lose your story. This is a great story. You come to West Virginia, there's not a soccer program at West Virginia. You began this from scratch. You have made WVU Women a national program year in and year out. So, were you getting ready to say something snippy? No, I thought you were positioned. Okay.
No, Nikki knows I love her. Was I out there rooting you on to the?
You were.
Yeah, we were going to win a national championship.
Yep.
Got a couple bad calls, didn't we?
Yeah. It's always those referees.
Well.
Doggone.
Oh,
Tell
God,
you
now
what.
he's going to cry about soccer referees.
Listen, what do you know about soccer? I'm talking to Nikki. I'm not talking to you.
I'm talking about referees.
Isn't that right? There was a couple bad calls. Yes.
Yeah, you'll get
See,
that.
she agrees.
You'll get that. Bring us into
What?
perspective.
But I'm just sitting here thinking, why are you up raising hell constantly about officials? But you think they're really good now, don't you?
Yeah, I think there are some
yeah,
good
good.
ones, some bad ones.
Good. You ever watch him? Y'all think I'm bad.
You two guys, seriously, you guys are the poster child for bad behavior with
Yeah.
referees right there. Seriously. I bet you your picture's up at the NCAA headquarters as ref bashers right there.
Spoken by a guy who has absolutely no control over his radio show. Absolutely none.
That's a solid point. Anyway, as I was saying, put it into perspective for us where you feel your program is, and you've played for a national championship. Where are you on that constant climb?
It's never easy winning. It's always a grind. You know, this was our 17th Big 12 championship, so that was really exciting for us. But we're graduating 9 seniors, 6 are going and playing professionals, so it's definitely a rebuilding year. I had 6 freshmen, high schoolers in with us in January. I definitely got to be the best coach I've ever been because we're going to be young, but I also love that motivation, and maybe we can sneak in as the underdog now and make some noise.
Outstanding. Wait,
I
mean, you guys are like two bad
I
kids in
just want
study
to say
hall.
that was not Marlon that left Shane. he
It was
can't
Avon.
see.
It was Avon. Where's Avon?
Sure looks like
The
Marlon from
all-time
behind.
leader. Where's
Where is
Avon?
Avon? I like Avon.
Where'd Avon go? The all-time leader right there, Avon Coburn. I know the light's in your eyes, but you know,
Avon, can you play soccer?
I bet you could play
Have you
well.
ever thought about it? I bet you'd be really good.
I bet you could play really, really well. John, if you would, talk a little bit about the international thing. We talk about scholarship athletes. We talk about West Virginia kids. We talk about international recruiting. If you would, give us an overview how you put this team together.
Well, we don't have too many West Virginia kids.
Can it happen?
It's not through lack of want or trying. I think like a lot of sports, it's a club-based sport, and there's just not that very many junior clubs in West Virginia, so there's not very many kids that are competing in the sort of NCAA and rifle. We kind of go everywhere. We'll go all over the country. I think when I was competing internationally, that helped me make a lot of contacts, across the world, as it were, different countries. And actually, I think Nico was our first international student that we brought over, and I met him competing internationally. I was telling someone earlier, I met him when I went to the Beijing Olympics in 2008, recruited him over, and then we were both in 2012, and he gave me a pretty good ass kicking in the events that he shot, but won some medals, and that sort of opened the floodgates, and we've since then had quite a lot of international kids come over, which has been great. Out of our 9 team members this year, 3 of them are from Europe. But I think, that's expanded. I know Nikki's had a bunch. I know Hugs has had international kids. I think all the sports are going that way. For me, naturally you get a great, typically a great athlete to come over that's shooting at a high level. But it just adds something, different to your team, a different bit of culture, and someone from a different background, different language, all that kind of stuff. So I think it's always neat for the group dynamic. But yeah, we'll recruit from wherever we can get them. We're in a really great situation that we're able to go and compete for the best kids in the country, and West Virginia Rifles, where a lot of the kids want to come. And as all these guys know, once you get a recruit into Morgantown, it's a great university, it's a great town. It's quite often that, easy to recruit once you get them there. So, we'll continue to recruit internationally. It gives us a great kind of depth and different perspective. And anytime you can get high-quality recruits to come over, it's great for the team.
Last questions here for you two, gentlemen. Let's talk a little X's and O's. Mike, where's the game going right now?
Well, I think you saw 2 years ago on the women's side, we went to 4 quarters instead of 2 halves, which I really like. And then every quarter up to 5 fouls, then you start shooting foul shots. Now, I don't like shooting 2 at a time. I'd like to be a 1-and-1, put a little bit more pressure on the shooter. But I like taking away the fouls starting the second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. I enjoy that. And the last thing I like about the new rules is under a minute in the fourth quarter, you can advance the ball to half court. And I just think it makes the game more exciting to be able to advance and try to sideline out of bounds, especially if you only have 2 or 3 seconds. You can get a shot off. But if you have to advance it from the baseline, that's pretty tough. But I think I'm like Coach on that. I don't know why we keep fooling with it. They're talking about moving the 3-point line back. They're talking about widening the lane. They're talking about all that. But, I'll be honest with you. I'm happy the way it is right now. But there's always going to be change, and we'll see where it goes.
Hugs, you are on the Rules Committee. Give us an update. Anything cooking there?
That's scary, though.
We're going to straighten this out now. Anything what, Tony?
Anything shaken? I know you were, during the course of the season, you guys were meeting over the phone, and then you were getting closer to talk about certain issues. You wanted certain issues that you wanted to discuss, the cylinder rule, which is your thorn in your side. Anything changing here? Where do you see the rules going?
I think Mike hit it on the head. I'm so afraid that we're going to end up being European.
Hey, now.
Here we go. Now we got a
I
problem.
wasn't talking about rifle. All right, I'm talking about something I know something about. No, you know what, Tony? I may be wrong, but I think we invented the game. We made the rules for the game. We have been, without a question, the best basketball country in the world forever. Why do we want to be like them? I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. We're talking about widening the lane, which is totally going to take post play out of our game, and post play is American. It is.
There's your campaign bumper sticker. Post play is American.
Apple pie and post play. Their bigs are out on the floor. Our bigs are in the post. I think Derek's here. Other than Derek, I'd like to throw it close to, big guys. Where are you, Derek?
Where's the big guy? He's right over there.
Yeah.
Back over here.
Somebody said, Derek had 21 rebounds 2 games in a row. I said, yeah, there's his misses. I'm teasing DC. I'm just teasing. Tony, I don't, I'm looking at the rules, and you talk to the coaches outside of a committee meeting, and they all have a different opinion. And then when you get in there, everybody just wants to get out. So, it just gets, it's absurd what we're trying to do with our game. And, then we start talking about the NBA. And the reason the NBA's become so popular is because they changed the rules. And I'm looking at them and like, you can't be that stupid. The NBA became very popular because they never pit one game against another. If you ever noticed, they have one game on, and when that game's over, they have another game. Now, we may have 6 or 7 games at one time on TV. And on a bad day, we got 4. And then they say, well, their numbers are better than ours. Well, yeah, their numbers are better. They're talking one game. Give us one game a night, or 4 games a night, but never against each other, and see what our numbers are. It's it's just trying to get people to think a little bit rationally instead of just trying to get out of the room is it's hard. And I've talked to, the game's going on, and guys will come by me when you and Jay stop the game, and they'll come to me and they'll say, Hugs, we need to talk before you go to that rules committee thing. All right, we'll talk. So I've got about 15 phone calls to make to officials, other coaches, old coaches, to hear what they want to say so I can, kind of sort through what it is and go in there with a halfway intelligent view of the thing. I'm against, I don't care about moving the line back, but I do care about widening the lane.
Widening the lane. Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, our coaches, Nikki Izzo Brown, John Hammond, Bob Huggins, Mike Carey. Let's have a round of applause. Thank you, guys. Our cavalcade of stars continues now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our student athletes for the evening. Representing Mountaineer football, Reese Donahue. From the Mountaineer wrestling program, Noah Adams. Representing women's basketball, Lucky Rudd. And from the Mountaineer volleyball team, Aaron Slindy. Come on up.
Be careful here, and this is a dangerous seat.
Hi, guys. How are we? Good, how are you? Doing well, good, thank you. Appreciate it. Did you make new friends at your table?
Oh, yeah.
Tell me about your table, Aaron. Go.
Oh, well, actually, I was here 2 years ago, and I was lucky enough to sit with the exact same people. They're great.
Maybe they never left.
I know, right? I also kind of feel bad for them. They got me again. I'm like, oh, sorry, guys.
What's the probability of that? Lucky? Nice people? Yeah, really nice. Way in the back? Give them a shout out. Yeah, it's on. Well, they cheered for you? Shout it out. Reese, what do you got?
Man, we got some characters over there. No, all good people, man. It's good to see some people here to represent us, and obviously you guys are all here to support us and uplift us, so it's good to see you, and it's good to be around.
Noah, who are you with? Where's your table?
Number 9 right there.
Oh, I know those guys. I didn't even know you guys are out of jail yet.
No.
Gold card Bill's back there. Hey, my man, good to see you, buddy. They're fantastic people. All right, so, Mr. Donahue, by the way, engaged. We got a microphone issue?
I don't know.
Check 1, 2, 2.
Check 1, 2, 2.
And that's as high as I can go. I went to Syracuse. Okay, here we go. I said it before you thought it. Got engaged, right? Mountaineer Field, remember that? I asked him earlier today, yeah. Wedding date, February the 1st, awesome. Talk a little bit about what it means to you as an in-state guy to be performing here and not only succeeding athletically, but academically as well.
What I'm about to say is probably known to everybody. It's a big deal for West Virginia kids just because, growing up, there's no pro teams. I mean, West Virginia football is all we have, or not just football, but West Virginia sports in general. So for me to be able to come up here and be in front of you guys and not only to do this, but to play to represent the state that I grew up in, it's a big deal. And I think one thing that it really speaks measures is every year we go over what it means to be a Mountaineer and have that Mountaineer mentality. And we talk about the coal mines, how they pump the radio down into the games, just down into the coal mines just so people can listen. And unless you're from the state, you really don't understand what kind of impact that you can make. For me, it's an honor and it's a dream to play here. And this is all I've wanted to do all my life was to be a Mountaineer and to play football here. So really what I'm doing is living out a dream. But unless you're from the state, you really don't understand what it's like. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people who get recruited to come play here overall, they learn the Mountaineer mentality. They understand eventually by going out in the community and doing good works and things like that. They eventually develop and the understanding of what it means to be a Mountaineer and to what it means to represent the state.
Thank you very much, Reese. Noah, what has a scholarship, a grant and aid meant to you?
Well, I mean, it's the reason I'm here, academically and athletically. If I didn't have that scholarship, I don't know that I would be here right now to be able to talk to you guys and represent for not only the school, but everyone else that's been with me along this journey. So scholarship is everything to me.
Yeah. New coach this year, Coach Flynn. Bring us up to date with how things are going.
Well, I actually knew old Flinny Flynn before I came here.
Old Flinny Flynn. I've
Yeah.
never heard him referred that way, yeah.
I took a visit out when he was at Edinburgh there and really liked it. And I mean, he's here now, so it must have just meant to be.
Yeah.
I really like them, and I think we're on the right path with this new staff. I'm interested to see what we have the next 3 years.
Good deal. Congratulations to you. Congratulations. Lucky, now that we've got your microphone working, you heard Reese talk about what it means to play in front of Mountaineer fans. Walk us through there. What's it been like for you?
Well, I mean, playing at West Virginia is definitely like something that you take pride in. The fans and all the support that you get every single night, and even after like a bad loss or whatever, the fans are always there to support you. They always let you know that they'll be there, they love you, and I mean, they show their support through their screaming and their donors and everything else. So I mean, the fan support is everything to like every single team that is part of the West Virginia organization.
You know, in saying that, I remembered we were on the road this year, but you guys hosted the midday game with all of the students. That was absolutely wild, wasn't it? Yeah, all the little
dance.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you think about that, and that's what builds those memories for these kids, you know, thinking of Mountaineers and growing up to be a Mountaineer. That was a fantastic, fantastic day. Aaron, I understand you've got aspirations to be behind a microphone in your career, broadcaster.
Possibly, yeah.
Pays very little. You don't want to do it. No, in all seriousness, what's your scholarship? What's your involvement with WVU athletics? What's it meant to you? How have you grown?
I really think, especially being from Minnesota and moving so far away from home to come here, I've made so many connections and grew so much as a person. I mean, even looking back here, 2 years ago, and looking at where I was then and where I am now, I can't even explain how much I've grown. Just through being an athlete, but also being a student. This opportunity has really meant everything, and I owe everything to it, because without all of you here, I can confidently say that I wouldn't be up here on this stage, and who knows where I'd be. So I really appreciate every single one of you that come out and donate and really support us. It really does mean the world to us, and it gives us so many opportunities to do the things we love. If I do end up behind a microphone one day or whatever I end up doing, I owe it all to you. So thank you.
Thank you. We're going to hear from Neil in just a little bit, but spring is over. So you went through spring, you had the whole transition period here. Bring us up to speed, man. Not only talk about your new quasi-new role, but new defense, all new relationships. How's the transition going?
I tell you what, everybody always talked about how transitioning from coach to coach would make it really hard, especially me being a senior. This being my last little bit of time here at West Virginia. But really, I think Coach Brown and his staff have done a phenomenal job in the transition period, because, I think one thing that also spoke message was when Coach Brown came in, the first thing he did was have player meetings, and he said, I don't even want to talk about football right now. Let's talk about you. I want to get to know you. And he also said that, forget this. Like, I don't care who recruited you. I don't care where you've been, where you come from, but you're my player now. You know what I mean? And we're in this journey together. So it doesn't matter where you came from, but I'm here for you. And so him and his staff, I think he's brought in some of the best coaches in America. I believe that wholeheartedly, and I think they're doing a phenomenal job. We're not just doing things that are building our bodies and building us as football players, but he's developed us as young men, and I think that he's building something really great here.
Outstanding. Very good. No, I think these folks would find it interesting to know the challenge that every student athlete has of being a student and an athlete. And I think sometimes that you hear, well, they go to practice, or yeah, they compete in their events. Can you kind of walk us through, in season, a day in the life?
I don't even know how to describe it other than just busy all the time. Like, you wake up, you'll work out early in the morning.
What time we talking?
6:27.
Okay.
From there.
Workout till when?
Usually about an hour, hour and a half. Give yourself some room. And you're going straight from there. I mean, straight to class. You have class all day. You practice again around 3 o'clock the afternoon. You go back, go to study hall and tutors, do homework. And I mean, by that time, it's ready. You got to get ready for bed. Do it all over again. So I mean, it's really busy. It's really hard to do, but you just got to learn how to manage your time and adjust. That's
Yeah.
a big thing with that.
It is amazing. I mean, I think that sometimes we being the general folks, don't understand. I think that it's hard going to school without playing a sport. Put the two together, and it's absolutely an incredible demand. So you guys should, all of you guys out here, all the student athletes should be congratulated for doing that work. It's extremely difficult. Lucky, let's jump in here a little bit about your team this year. Coach Carey, I thought, said something that was really, really interesting. Obviously, you guys were decimated by injuries, but he said at the end of it, I wouldn't trade those 8 that were playing. What made you guys stay together, and what was the key, and what are your thoughts about next season's team?
I mean, Coach Carey, he's really the reason why we have to stay together, because going through practices, he makes sure he mentally disrupts your brain. And,
Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
But as teammates, you just have to uplift each other to make sure everybody stays on the same page. And we wanted to try to do something like not go to the NIT again, which didn't happen, but we didn't want to go to the NIT again, so that was everybody's goal. And I mean, I feel like with all of us having the same goal, that's what really like made us all glued together. And outside of basketball, we were together 24/7. So I mean, this team that we had last year actually genuinely liked each other. You know, like some teams just your teammates, whatever. But
Sure.
Everybody on that team actually really cared for each other. So I mean, that really helped our team at the end.
Expectations for next season's team?
Oh, it's gonna be great. With 6 people coming in, we're gonna be great.
Good deal. Take it.
No more
Great.
NIT and NCAA from here on out.
Got that, Coach Carey? It's on you, big boy. It's on you. Don't screw it up. Aaron, same kind of a question. You guys continue to improve. You guys are getting better. Give us a update as to where you think the volleyball program is and expectation for next season.
I think last season our team was extremely young. Almost half, or nearly half of our team was freshmen. We had 9 freshmen come in next year, and so we had no seniors. So it was on me and the rest of the juniors to kind of lead the team. And I think, especially this spring, we have improved it tremendously. I know our record doesn't necessarily show, how well we competed, but we did lose a multiple, 5-set matches being up 2-0. So I think we are competitive in the Big 12, and I know we are a rebuilding program, but our goal still continues to be to one day make the NCAA tournament. And I think the team we have now, really our goal is to be that team. We want to be the team that makes history and leaves our mark on this program. We want to be the team that beats Texas for the first time in program history. And so I think that this spring we've made really great strides towards that goal. And I'm really excited to be returning a lot of players, and for my very last season, hopefully achieve that goal of making the NCAA tournament for the very first time.
Very good. We wish you the best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him. Aaron Slindy, Lucky Rudd, Noah Adams, Reese Donahue. Thank you, guys. My pleasure. For the very first time at our Charleston Scholarship Dinner, would you please welcome your West Virginia head football coach, Neil Brown.
Thank you all. Kudos to our video people because they totally missed a shot where my 4-year-old son Dax was throwing a fit about 30 seconds before the press conference. So I appreciate them not including that on the video. I should have just let Reese give this speech and move on. You know, whatever he said, thank you, thanks for being here, and I'm out, right? Now, I want to recognize Shay Campbell, one of our players here too. Where you at, Shay? Right there in front. Yeah. So Ben calls and says, can you be the keynote speaker? I'm not real sure what the keynote is, but can you be the keynote speaker for our Charleston dinner? And so what I did, like most of these speaking engagements, which I apologize, 'cause I'm going to let a little known fact out. So I said, yeah, call Coleman. Well, Coleman Barnes is my right-hand guy, and he knows to say no, okay? And so Coleman comes to me, hey, Ben wants to know if you'll be the keynote speaker. Yeah, tell him no. My kids have something. Tell him my kids have something. He said, no, you have to go. And I said, well, give me kind of the details. So I look at the program, and he says, Ben says this never runs over. Never runs over. So I'm looking at it. All right, Dr. Gee. I then look and see who's on the coaches panel. I'm like, oh, this is 4 minutes. I can knock this out. No problem. So plus undefeated. Maybe the only time undefeated, regardless how the season goes. And then regardless how the season goes, they never ask the same speaker to come back twice. Okay, so knocking that out. But no, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a real brief kind of state of the program, where we're at the end of spring ball. And then I'm going to talk to you just briefly about the importance of scholarships and some real life examples of some effects it's had. You know, we've got 1 week. These student athletes are in their last week before finals, and then as football student athletes, they'll be able to go home for about 3 weeks, and it's really a much deserved break. You'll hear this talked about, and you heard the student athletes, is they're given a lot, they are, but it comes at a price. I mean, this is a year-round 2 jobs for them. They're basically in class about 11 and a half months a year, and whatever their sport is, and ours is football, it's become a 12-month-a-year job. So our guys will have a little bit of break coming up here for about 3 weeks in May. But coming out of spring, just kind of a brief overview. I'll start defensively. Defensively, I was really pleasantly surprised at how our guys really adapted to a new system, completely changing from a 3-down front to a 4-down front. Will be multiple. But I thought our guys really did a good job. Defensive line-wise, Reese is the leader in our defensive line. We've got the Stills brothers from right down the road in Fairmont. And I think Dante, and I think Reese would say this too, Dante has a chance to be a special player for us. And then another addition, Taj Austin, who's a junior college transfer. He has 3 years eligibility. Really showed himself to be the best pass rusher we have at that position. And we've got to develop some depth. Probably a look to add to that room as we go through the summer. But excited about that group of guys. Kind of our outside linebackers, Vandarius Cowan, who set out last year after transferring from Alabama. He's playing what we call our bandit position, and I think he's got a ton of upside. He hasn't played football in over 2 years, so he'll be a little bit raw. But I think he can do some positive things. And then Shay and Dylan Tonkery are both playing Mike linebacker. I think that's a lot of experience, a lot of football knowledge at that position. Josh Chandler, who's playing will linebacker for us, was really the bright spot of the entire spring. And then secondary, we've got a lot of experienced guys in that group. If you look at it overall defensively, a lot of these guys have played football and played in meaningful games last year and the season before. Probably the key returnee in the backfield is Kenny Robinson. He was an all Big 12 performer last year, had a really solid spring. Offensively, kind of an entirely different story. You know, we're going to have 5 kids drafted, which that's incredible, and excited about those guys: Will Greer and Gary Jennings and Wesco and David Seals and and Yadney, those guys, but 5 guys off offense last year that are going to be picked in the draft this weekend. So a young group, a group that has talent, but a really young group. 2 offensive linemen I think can be all Big 12 performers, Josh Sills and Colton McKivitz. A tight end, Giovanni Haskins comes back after backing up Westco, and he's a kid that has a lot of talent. I think he's going to have a really big role for us in the fall. And then at receiver, T.J. Simmons comes back. He was our best receiver during the spring. Sam James is a redshirt freshman. I think has elite talent. He just needs to play. And then I know nobody wants to know about quarterback, so I'll kind of skip over that for a second. But we've really got 3 guys competing in Austin Kendall, Jack Allison, and Trey Lowe, and they all did some good things. When you go through spring and you're having a competition, it really kind of puts the quarterback at a disservice because they really struggle to get into rhythm. I thought Austin Kendall played the best in the spring game, but I thought all 3 of them had moments during spring practice, and I think we're going to be in good shape there. We need this summer and into fall camp to really shore up that. And then special teams. Nobody talks about special teams much, but really a significant aspect and really something that we're going to have to hang our hat on because I think we'll have a lot of close games. I think they'll be really important in the fall. We return our long snapper, Rex Suniharma, which we're really excited about him. Evan Staley returns as a kicker. Casey Legg, whose parents are right down here at the front, he's a guy that showed a lot of promise in the spring. But we lose a 3-year starter at punter. And that's something that we've got to figure out. We've got to get better in that area, but we're excited about some of our options. And so as we move through it, I think we're a football team that's going to be young. It's going to be inexperienced. I think we're going to have I think this summer is really key for us in our development. And then we get into fall camp, and we play an extremely challenging schedule. You all know that. We open up with James Madison, perennial, one of the best FCS programs, play NC State, Missouri, before getting into Big 12 play. So we have our hands full, but I think we're we're going in the right direction. Recruiting is going well, and I'll say this, is recruiting in football is so much driven social media wise, and I'm not sure that's a good thing, but West Virginia has a tremendous following on social media, and that really helps us as far as recruiting some student athletes, so I appreciate that. And then I want to kind of finish up just talking scholarships, because that's the reason we're here tonight, and I wanted to hit on those just real briefly. Is we talk about having 3 goals in our program: is develop men, graduate, and then place them in employment, and then win. And not putting those in any particular order. Those are things. And I always talk about goals. Well, those things will get you fired if you don't do. Okay, so that's the kind of a clear picture. But none of those are possible without scholarship student athletes. And to me, it's all about those players. And by you supporting our scholarship fund, what it does is it gives educational opportunities. And there was a lot of coaches up here earlier, and I would bet they would echo this same sentiment. So many of the student athletes that we recruit are first-generation college students. It maybe come from economic means where going to college and getting a college degree is something that without their athletic ability may or may not be able to do. And so these scholarships provide opportunities. And like I said, being a student athlete is hard. It's really hard. But they go to work every single day. They talk to you. You heard the student athletes talk about it. They start early, they finish late. A lot of times their schoolwork's done at the end of the day. And they're thankful. They're thankful for those opportunities. And I want to end with this. Scholarships change lives. And not just the student athletes' lives. They change lives for generations to come. Because when these student athletes get out, they don't understand this, but there's this deal called debt, right? Everybody knows debt. Well, either if you're not paying for your son or daughter to go to college, you leave with debt. And these student athletes are able to start, I don't know what Tony did, but that's a sign. I promise I'm finishing. So, but these student athletes are able to start debt-free and really, really go about their future earnings in a completely different manner than if they had to do that on their own. And then this is the biggest thing for you here, because almost everyone here is West Virginia native. Obviously, they live here. And so many of our student athletes who come to West Virginia on a scholarship, via scholarship, but what they do is they take advantage of that, they graduate, and then they choose to stay in the state that's treated them so well. So now they graduate, then they go to communities, they take employment, they're leaders in their community, they're leaders where they work, and they give back to this state. And I can't tell you how many guys that we have from Florida or Pennsylvania, New Jersey, but if you ask them where their home is now, their home's in West Virginia, and that all started because of a scholarship opportunity. So I thank you all for your support. Thank you for supporting our scholarship fund. I thank you all for the reception that we've had thus far. We're looking forward to the fall. There's going to be some ups and downs. That's just part of it. But I appreciate it, and we're glad to be here. Let's go Mountaineers.
Thank you, Neil, very much. This will close our proceedings with one note, that if you did successfully bid and win an auction item on your way out, they will be available for you at the auction table. You guys have been absolutely wonderful. We appreciate you coming out. Keep on cheering on the Mountaineers. Don't forget, as Shane said earlier, the Mountaineer golf team in the Big 12 Conference Championship being hosted at the Greenbrier this weekend. The Mountaineer baseball team is sizzling, streaking hot. They're on the road this weekend, but then they'll be back home. They're ranked in the top 25, so it's been a great, great season so far. We will see you in Morgantown in the not-too-distant future. It's a great night to be a Mountaineer. Thank you all very much. Have a good night. See you all.